Hello everyone, my name is Malak Askar and today I will be presenting my psychology project, which is to talk about psychological disorders in the show Big Bang Theory. And my character for this show is Dr. Sheldon Cooper. So, we will be discussing about who exactly is Sheldon Cooper. Dr. Sheldon Cooper majored in a lot of things and is a Caltech theoretical physicist. Next to his best friend, Leonard Hofstadter, he is the main protagonist of the show Big Bang Theory, and the main character is young Sheldon. So, Big Bang Theory and young Sheldon are totally two different shows, but we will be concentrating with Big Bang Theory. But let's get to know more about Sheldon Cooper from the show Young Sheldon. So it's 1989, and a 9-year-old Sheldon Cooper skipped 4 grades to start high school, even though he was not basically understood by his family or neighbors or classmates, since I don't think he had much friends. His mother supported him or arms him with the best tool she has, reminding bullies so that they don't bully Sheldon. That his father is the coach of the football is the football coach, and that his brother is on the team. So basically, if anyone bullies Sheldon or just thinks about bullying Sheldon, he has backup. His twin sister doesn't share his exceptional mind, but she has a much clearer vision of what life has in store for the young genius, Sheldon Cooper. Jim, Jim Parsons, who plays the older version of Sheldon Cooper in Big Bang Theory, and 2007 narrates. So now I'll be discussing the show itself. So basically, this is a general plot. So The Big Bang Theory is a comedy about brilliant physicists, Leonard and Sheldon, who are the kind of beautiful minds that understand how the universe works. But none of that genius helps them interact with people, especially women. All this begins to change when a beautiful, free-spirited woman named Penny moves in next door. Sheldon, who's Leonard's roommate, basically our character for this project, is quite content, spending his nights playing Klingon Boggle with their socially dysfunctional friends Philo Wolowitz and Kutra Pali. However, Leonard sees in Penny a whole new universe of possibilities, including love. From the very first episode, we see oddities in Sheldon's behavior, such as having his own side of the couch that he has to sit in, or the excessive need to have a routine and stay in his comfort zone. We see him having to knock 3 times every time he visits Penny, his neighbor. And when Penny points it out, he tries to deny it. So sometimes he just knocks 2 times, then he feels uncomfortable and ends up knocking a third time. It is undeniable that Sheldon is smart, with many degrees and a job at Caltech. But there are times during the show where he was struggling with his job from a more people perspective. He even lost his job one episode because he said an offensive remark to his boss. Though he didn't mean it to be offensive, basically to him it was basically honesty, nothing else. He's also seen having issues with personal space. According to him, having someone in his room or around his personal things will risk them disorganizing it. Kind of gives me flashbacks of another show. Anyways, as shown in one of the earlier episodes, he doesn't think it's rude to break into Penny's apartment, to organize her apartment or her whole house. It is exaggerated for comedic effect. But it does show us a clear view of just how serious Sheldon is with having things in order and being neat. And I'll be discussing more about his symptoms: pervasive need for a routine. Everything around him has to be neat so that he can relax normally. The extra need to keep trying things until it feels like perfection to him. He needs to have experienced a situation or something similar to it so that he has a sense of control, which led me to believe that he has OCPD, also known as obsessive compulsive personality disorder, and OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So, what exactly is OCPD, which is obsessive compulsive personality disorder? It's characterized by a pervasive preoccupation with orderliness, perfectionism, and control with no room for flexibility that ultimately slows or interferes with completing a task. Diagnosis is by clinical criteria. Sheldon also shows some symptoms of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, that are usually not seen in OCPD. As we mentioned before about the knocking, as seen with Sheldon having to knock 3 times and call out someone's name 3 times.
Penny! Penny!
What?
Penny!
It is common in the show to see his friends ask him, "Are you insane?" And to that he always replies with, "No, I'm not. My mother had me tested." It is apparent to him that even the closest people in his life cannot handle his quirks, as they are referred to in the show and during the middle of the series. When there are too many changes in his life, you see him start to isolate himself, and he can see it frustrates the people in his life, but he can't help it.
Good news. I just spoke to Tommy Clarkson.
What? Are you crazy?
Nope, Mom had me tested. And Tommy's actually nicer than you think.
I told you to stay out of it.
But consider this. The Japanese, they're doing some wonderful work with artificial intelligence. Now, you combine that with some animatronics from the Imagineers over at Disney, next thing you know, we're playing Halo with a multilingual Abraham Lincoln.
Sheldon, don't take this the wrong way, but you're insane.
That may well be, but the fact is it wouldn't kill us to meet some new people.
For the record, it could kill us to meet new people. They could be murderers or the carriers of unusual pathogens. And I'm not insane. My mother had me tested.
Sheldon, you're wrong. Wolverine was not born with bone claws.
Howard, you know me to be a very smart man. Don't you think if I were wrong, I'd know it?
Okay, first of all...
Give it up, dude. You're arguing with a crazy person.
I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested.
Thankfully, the people in his life consider him an important person or an important part of their life, and even though they have their differences, they are always patient and understanding of Sheldon, especially his best friend Leonard, who seems to know just how to make Sheldon feel comfortable. Throughout the show, we see him start to adapt better and explores new areas of his life, especially when he sees or meets Amy.
Sheldon, this is silly. I'm not missing another prom. I'm going upstairs now. Goodbye.
I really did think you looked pretty.
You did?
Yes. So much so that I started to panic.
Well, you can relax. Just because you think I look pretty, it doesn't mean we have to spend the night together.
Were you hoping we would because it's prom?
I'm always hoping. But tonight, I just wanted to have a nice time with you. Maybe dance with someone who has arms.
Thank you for understanding.
Of course I understand. Sheldon, there's something else I've been wanting to say, but before I do, I want you to know that you don't have to say it back. I know you're not ready, and I don't want you to say it just because social convention dictates that
I love you too.
You said it.
There's no denying I have feelings for you that can't be explained in any other way. I briefly considered that I had a brain parasite. But that seems even more far-fetched. The only conclusion was love.
A lot of you may ask what was the resolution of this character, Sheldon Cooper. Well, his friends try their hardest to get him out of his comfort zone and he goes through a lot of character development. He doesn't get better like 100%, but better than nothing. Although even towards the end he never fully recovers, he seems to lead a more comfortable life. He struggled a lot of how he was never alone through the show, and as his life went on, he accepted that people can't always stay the same. He slowly but surely adapted to things like his roommate moving out and his close friends getting married. A question I was asked to answer in this project was what state which school of psychology you chose to analyze the character. I chose psychoanalysis because the show gave a clear view of both his reactions and how he views things. And that's it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed.